There's nowhere you can hide, Spartan. Put as much distance between you and the truth as you want. It changes nothing. Pretend to be everything you are not. Teacher, husband, father. But there is one unavoidable truth you will never escape. You cannot change. You will always be a monster.
I know.
What is there to say of perfection? This is the third version of my script because I cannot find the particular combination of words to do anything other than butcher God of War's beauty. In many ways, I feel my struggle to articulate these feelings is a reflection of Kratos' own story. Like God of War's perfection, Kratos' burdens, sins, and struggles are obvious to those who have played the game or know his story, but they're hard to convey at first glance in a trailer or a video barely longer than one. He is a walking monument to the tragedy of his life. His skin is literally stained ghostly white with the ashes of his wife and daughter, who he butchered. But you might mistake that for the body paint of a warrior. Even the games his story was told through struggle to tell Kratos' story in a mature and thoughtful way, often feeling more like a parody of his tragedy rather than the embodiment of it. For 17 years, that story was flashed across the TVs of millions of players in fits of rage and action-fueled chaos. But then the developers tried something new. They put the story first. Like the prior games, the gameplay in God of War is fantastic, but it's measured and nuanced rather than chaotic to reflect Kratos' internal struggle. When Kratos reaches below the floorboards and reluctantly withdraws the Blades of Chaos, he's ripping open a wound that never healed. They offer unfathomable power, yet that power comes from the scraps of humanity and sanity Kratos was left with after losing everything. It gives new weight to a weapon that makes you feel utterly unrestrained. Also, like the prior games, the world is wonderfully rendered, but being able to walk through it and discover it at your own pace makes it feel like a world Kratos inhabits rather than just destroys. In the 17 years that Kratos was a part of our lives before this game, I never once felt an ounce of sympathy for him. God of War didn't just make me feel bad for Kratos, it made me weep for him. Every time I play the clip of Christopher Judge saying, "I know," my eyes tear up too, and I choke on the air his pain traps in my throat. Judge's performance, the work of the supporting cast, and the hundreds of developers that brought it all to life shattered me. They saw through 17 years of violence and embraced the broken man at the heart of this franchise. And I think they finally convinced the world that he's more than just a monster. God of War is a love letter to the franchise, written in the blood of its failure to do Kratos' story justice. It is perfection.
A lot of this performance, for me, is a love letter to my kids. It's an apology.